and welcome to Tech to Tech presented by KYZEN, where we will explore common cleaning questions and answers. Let's get started. I would like to introduce KYZEN's own Stephen Griffith.
Thanks, William, and thanks everybody for joining us for today's Tech to Tech. Today we're going to be doing part 3 of the combination products, and today we're talking about multi-metals. Phil Tomasello and Will Sweet, the prior two combination products presentations were done on aluminum substrates and steel substrates. So you can go back and watch those if you've not. So what do I mean by multi-metals? Multi-metals is simply exactly what it says. It's when multi-metals are present in one substrate or a part. You know, issues can arise when you're having to wash parts with multi-metals in them. Sometimes you have steel and aluminum together, and sometimes in certain chemistries that can cause an issue. Certain chemistries that clean steel really well can actually go after aluminum. So what are combination products? You know, it's chemistries that are specifically formulated to have a cleaning capability as well as added rust protection or corrosion prevention in it. It's going to have both of those products inside of one chemistry. So the good thing about this, the same chemistry that's used in your wash tank can also be used at a lower concentration in your rinse tank. And that gives you an added layer of protection, and it also makes it very measurable throughout the process. If you use two different chemistries, you use a wash chemistry in tank 1 and you use a rust preventative in tank 2 separately, it's going to give you an undeterminable concentration, and you're not going to accurately be able to measure the longevity of the protection that you're adding to your products. So let's talk about the typical aqueous wash process, and let's also talk about some control challenges that you have in these processes. So the diagram below shows what I would say is most of your typical aqueous wash processes. You have a wash tank that has all of your chemistry inside of it. You have a rinse tank, which is where if you're adding a secondary chemistry for rust preventative or corrosion protection, that's where it's going to be added. And then you have your tank 3, which is going to be your dryer portion. An issue in most aqueous wash processes is a problem called drag out. Drag out is when you pull your parts from tank 1 into the rinse tank, and you're pulling chemistry into the rinse tank, and it's contaminating your rust preventative or your corrosion protection. So this is going to happen naturally, and the good thing about using a combination product is you have the same product in your wash tank as you also have in your rinse tank, and so it allows it to have a determinable concentration throughout the process. What are some of the benefits of combination products? Well, as we've said before, you're protecting your parts as you clean. This is going to speed up your processing time that you have inside your facility. It's going to eliminate your need for multiple chemistries. It's going to free up some floor and storage space because you're only using one chemistry. No more drag out concerns, as we talked about in the last slide. So it's going to increase, overall, it's going to increase your capability and throughput of your facilities just by switching to a combination product. How long are my parts protected? Well, there's a couple of ways that you can do this, and the best is just real world application. Protect your part, clean it and protect it, throw it on the shelf, see how long you have inside your facility, because that's a real world thing. Humidity and exposure to everything is going to be different in your facility compared to my facility. So if you don't have that time to be able to do that, though, one way that we speed up the process is we use a humidity chamber. It runs at 90 degrees humidity for 90 and at 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you leave a part in there for 24 hours, that 24 hours equals 9 days determinable protection on the shelf. So, for example, if you need 90 days of protection, it's got to make it through 10 days inside the humidity chamber with no corrosion or rust forming. So when should we use combination products? Well, your parts need to be cleaned and protected, simple enough. You have bare metals that need protection and it to prevent flash, rust, or a corrosion that happens inside, sometimes even inside the wash process. You want to simplify your processes just by going to one chemistry instead of two. It allows you to have, that determinable protection time as well as easy measurement because you're having a determinable concentration. Some of the common challenges that you guys are having is the multi-step process. You have your current chemistry, you have a rust preventative, and due to drag out problems, you're having issues with concentration and your determination of your length of protection that you have. You wash your product and you put it on the shelf and you're having rust or corrosion show up prior to your assembly process. Or your parts have to be stored outside or in a humid environment. And in that case, you need to be able to know what your minimum and your maximum amount of protection is that you're going to have. So some frequently asked questions on this topic. One is, are all combination products multi-metal safe? Well, the answer is no. Sometimes in certain cleaning applications, you need a more aggressive chemistry than you do in others. Say steel application compared to a brass or a copper application. Another question is the corrosion corrosion protection short term? The amount of protection is associated with the time, the chemistry, concentration, and the storage environment. Longer processing times and a higher concentration are going to give you a longer protection. And the storage environment is going to affect the length that you have of your corrosion protection. So if you're in a more humid environment, it could be less than if you have a perfectly air-conditioned environment that you're keeping your clean parts in. Can combo products be used in the wash and the rinse cycles? And the answer to that is yes. And that's a good thing because it also, going into the next question, it's going to allow you to have a measurable amount of protection inside the entire wash process. So having the same chemistries in the wash and the rinse is going to allow you to have a measurable amount of corrosion protection in the wash as well as in the rinse. And that's going to allow you to have an accurate and determinable length of protection for your application. That's all I have today for our combination product series on multi-metals. I hope you enjoyed it. And with that, I'll send it back to William.
Thanks, Stephen. Thank you guys for watching this Tech to Tech session. If you would like to discuss this topic further or have any questions not answered in the session, please contact your local KYZEN regional manager or send an email to tech@kyzen.com, and we will have someone follow up with you as soon as possible. And if you like this video, be sure to follow us on our social media platforms for more expert cleaning content.